Hey ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all of you wherever you may be and whatever time it is. My name is Trevor Lewis and welcome to my channel Learn Photoshop, which is basically for beginners. As the name suggests, learn Photoshop, so you all will be here just to learn. Well, Photoshop is actually easy software for beginners, but as you go in it gets a little advanced and a little tricky and very interesting. So let's start off directly, and the first thing to have the ability to learn is to have the software. So once you get hold of the software, you install it and you open it. That's your Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud 2017 is the version that I'm going to teach you. I have this version and I like this version. I've never upgraded more than that to the latest version. So I click it. Sometimes the PC is slow, the software opens fast, sometimes it really takes time. So let's see. Cool, it opened very fast. Now when the software opens, it normally doesn't open like this. It opens like this with a window. But I've done some tweaks so that it opens faster and I can start my work quickly. So say for example your Photoshop opened with this window by default. The first thing you need to do is set your canvas size. Now in Photoshop everything is in pixels. Don't use anything else, but make sure you get used to using pixels. Let's forget this. Say for example I'm making a canvas of 800 by 800 pixels. Resolution for now as a beginner level you keep it at 72. Keep it at pixels per inch. The color mode keep it at RGB. RGB stands for red, green and blue. And the bit you keep it 8-bit for now. Background keep it white. And you say create. Don't pick at the advanced option, leave it. Create. Well, we get a canvas. As you can see on top, it is 66.7%. So that's okay. So it's squeezed it to show you the full canvas in one view. Now if you want to see the full view 100%, you go to this tool over here, magnifying glass, and on top you put 100%. It shows you the full thing, but it's better you keep it fit to screen so you can see everything for now. Yeah. Okay, now in this class I'm going to show you mainly the toolbar on the left hand side and how to use certain features. Every software has got a file, edit, image, blah 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 blah. But today we will focus on the tools. But make sure the first thing you see once your canvas is ready is window, workspace. Make sure it is on essentials and not on anything else. This is for the basics, so you keep it on essentials, mainly for Photoshop graphics. So I keep it on essentials. On the right hand side over here we have something called as layers. Now layers are something as you can create something on a layer and you can move it to whatever position you want. I will show it to you later. So by default Photoshop gives you one layer which is called a background layer, which is not movable. So we create one new layer on top of it. If you double click the name layer 1, you can rename it. So I'll rename it as something. Say Trevor, my name. My name is Trevor Lewis, by the way, if I forgot to tell you. So here we go. The very first option that you can see is the move tool. The name signifies everything. Move, that means you can use it to move objects. But first let's create an object. So the second tool is a marquee tool. Circular, rectangular, different. If you keep it pressed, you will get the options. So I will say I want to make, for example, on the layer Trevor, I want to make a circle. Okay, now I want to show you, if you want to fill it, there is something over here called as a bucket tool, same like paintbrush. So I select that one, and over here as you can see my colors, normally it's black and white color by default, but I have changed it, so it'll show you that. If you want to change the color, click it once, change whatever color you want, say blue, and fill it. And if you want to deselect it, select the circle back and click outside the circle, done. Now say for example the blue is the foreground color and behind that I want to keep another color, say green. So basically the foreground color and the background color, remember this for now. Now I make a new layer and say I want to make a rectangle. and I say, or a square, whatever you want, and I want to fill the background color. So I click the background color, use the bucket tool, you need to swap it. You can see the option here, and you can use it here. If you want to fill blue, swap it, blue. So whatever's in the front will come over here. The next tool is the lasso tool. Deselect it. In this you have something called as single row marquee tool and single column. So basically you can select one pixel in the full column or a row, whatever you want to say, and you can select one vertical also, like this. So say for example you want to fill this area, so now you take the bucket tool and you fill it, but make sure you make everything on new layers. Yeah, we go and I fill it. Let me see if it filled. It's not filled because you cannot make out that. If it's difficult, you come to the zoom in, zoom in, and now I go to my bucket tool and I click my zoom tool and I come back to 100% and I deselect it. I click outside, so it looks like a line. The same you can do for a column, a horizontal one. Make a new layer, zoom inside, this is the hand tool, so you can pan it down, click and come down. Here you go. So now I use my bucket tool and I fill this. Zoom in more, my bucket tool and I fill it. There you go. Now I come back to my zoom tool and I come back to 100% and I deselect outside. So just make sure you come back on a rectangle and deselect it. There are a lot of shortcuts which I will show you later on, but for now just remember this. Next is called a lasso tool, polygon lasso tool, magnetic lasso tool. Let's say it's a lasso tool. So basically it's the same thing. You can make a selection, make a new layer. Now I make a random selection like this one. Click, leave, click, leave, click, leave, click, leave, click, leave, click, leave, click, leave. When I come back to the first, and my icon will come with a small 0. That means I've reached a point. Click it, and I can fill it. Use my bucket tool and fill it. I deselect it back. The shortcut to deselect is Ctrl D. So for example, if it was like this, Ctrl D will deselect it. Or you can click marquee tool and deselect it, whatever you like. You can practice the other one. Polygon lasso tool is the one I showed you. This lasso tool is the one where you don't click and leave. You have to click and draw, move a random one and then leave. Click and move your cursor to whatever shape you want, like a pen, and then leave. Move it like this, and now I'll make a new layer and fill it again. So I'll fill it with the green color, my bucket tool, green. Okay, and I deselect it, Ctrl D. And the other one is a magnetic tool which I don't use. Magnetic lasso tool, I don't use it. It snaps to objects, you see. As I click once and I leave, it will snap to the nearest object. See? It's like a magnet. But you can explore and see wherever you can use. You need to use a combination of all these tools in Photoshop. So as of now, I'll only show you what I'm going to use. Then this is called the eyedropper tool. No, sorry, magic wand tool. Magic wand tool will select a color range. For example, I use the magic wand tool and I click blue, it will select the blue in that area. Make sure you select the layer first. It is on green, so green. example, you want to select a particular color in an image. Here everyone is in a different layer, so it's not selecting, but if the layer was one image and you select blue, it will select blue, the nearest blue color, the ranges. Like for example, if it is green, it will select green. I will show you the real working of this tool later on, but for now just remember that this tool, which is called the magic wand tool, will select color ranges. Okay, deselect. Next one is called the crop tool. Crop tool, as you know, in Photoshop and in paintbrush, it is simple. You make it like this and you crop it, but I don't use this tool. Leave it for now. You press the tool and you get more options in that. Slice tool and this, keep it at crop tool for now. This is called the eyedropper tool. It selects the color range. So for example, you have green and blue, you want to select white. You want to select gray, the color becomes gray down. The top color is the active color, so you want to make the active color blue. So if you have an image and you want certain colors, you can just use the eyedropper tool and select that color and it will come over here. Just use the first tool for now, don't use the other tools. Spot healing brush tool. It's a very interesting tool, which I will show you later on. But this tool is used mainly if you want to remove, for example, scratches from images, or you want to touch up an image so it looks new. You can use it. I will show it to you later on. Okay. Then the next one over here we go is a brush tool. It's very easy. Brush. So whatever color you have, it will brush. Make a new layer and brush. You want to make the brush small, you have it two. There are two types. One is a brush with a fine edge and one with a feathered edge. This is a sharp edge, so it brushes like this, and this one make it feather edge. But for example, you want to make the size smaller or whatever, you can make it small, the brush size. Explore it and you will learn more. Any questions you have, you make sure you ask me in the comment section, but don't forget to subscribe to my channel first. Okay. So brush tool. Now here we have something called as the clone tool or the pattern stamp tool, but I'll be using the clone tool. So clone tool is very simple. Clone, as the name says, copy from here to there. So for example, if you want this design over here, it's very simple. All you need to do is select your clone tool, the brush, make it a little bigger if you want. So first, after you select the brush tool, you press the Alt and say I want to select, click this area, leave the brush and come to the area where you want to copy it. So I copy it here. You see? It's only making the black because the black is on the black area. But I will show you the clone tool in a little easier way later on, because I need a flat image for that and I'll show it to you later on. So just remember, clone is basically used to copy an area from one place to another place. It will copy the same thing on that side. Clone, okay? Now the next one over here is the history brush tool. I don't use this much, so just leave it for now. Leave this tool. Control Z is to undo. Now here we come to the eraser tool. Is as usual to erase. You erase whatever you want from a particular layer. If I've selected this layer and I'm trying to erase the blue, it will not happen. I need to select the blue layer and erase it. Okay. This is the bucket tool I explained to you. It fills the color in a selection. No selection, the full canvas gets full. And there's also a gradient tool which I will explain later on. basically to make a gradient color. So for example, if I make a new layer and I make a rectangle and I want a square and I want to fill it my gradient color, I'll make it foreground color orange and background color I'll keep it as yellow. Now I want to fill it, gradient tool. You have over here different. It comes circular because of the circular shape, but I want to make it just a normal rectangular one, 2 color. So if I click it again, I can say I want more of the red or more of the yellow. It's up to me, yeah. So okay, so as you can see, the gradient was not coming because the mode here was screen. Make sure it's normal, and the opacity will make it 100. So So the next tool is the blur tool. As the name signifies, blur means it can make it blur. See, need to select a layer, select the blue layer, my blur tool, and okay, so what's happening? Make the strength 100% over here, and now you see what's happening. And make the brush a little bigger. Say it's 40 and make it 50. And you can see the edges are getting a little blur. I have selected the blue layer, treble layer, it's getting blurred. And the next one will be a sharpen one. Sharpen will again make my brush a little bigger. It will start sharpening the edge. You see, but it will distort it a bit. And the next one is the smudge tool. Smudge will make it like water. Keep my strength 100%. Okay. 50, 70, whatever. Smudging it basically. Okay, the next tool is dodge tool. This one will make it more like what do you call it? Brighten the image, and you can change the range to mild tone, shadows, highlights. Normally we keep it to mild mid-tones, and the other one will do is burn the image, will make it darker. Okay. It's burning the image. This one I don't use it much, sponge tool. I don't use this tool at all, but it makes it a little bit, what do you call, blurry. Okay. You can ignore that tool. The next one is the pen tool. So you can make selections with points and make the first one. And it's similar to the marquee tool, but here it's with points. And now you can make selection, right click inside and make a selection. Same like this but in abnormal shape. Now here the next one is you can add a point or you can subtract a point, delete an anchor, they call anchors, delete, delete, delete. You have something called as, you can click it and you can create two hands over there, and then you can move the shape. So I want to delete this one. And then I can make selection. I can fill it in a new layer. So I make a new layer and I fill it red. Take my bucket tool, fill it. I select outside, I take my move tool and I move it. Okay. Next one is text tool. The text will automatically create a new layer. So I come here and I click it and I put my name Trevor, Trevor. I can move it. Horizontal text, vertical text, it doesn't matter. You only remember text horizontal one for now. This is the path tool. It's the same as the anchors. When we created the anchors, make a new layer. I made the anchors. Okay, then I use this convert point tools. And then I was coming to this one, it creates an arrow. It's the same as this tool, path tool. I click it. Sorry, I click it and I get this. I select the points with this. I can move it also. So I want to create a curve to it. I come to this tool and I make a curve. And then I want to move only one hand. So I come here and I take this one. If you feel both the hands are moving, you just press the Alt key and move it. Only one hand will move, Alt key. And then you can move one hand from there. Okay? Any questions, please feel free and ask me in the comment section. This is the rectangular tool, rounded rectangular tool, ellipse tool, same, but it comes like this. So I make a new layer. And now I make it, you can see, it's got a curved edge. It's taken my red color and the yellow color, so it's taken my foreground color. Now say I want to make the edge a little bit more curvy. So I come on top here, radius, and I make it say 20. Now you see my rectangle, it's got a bigger curve in the edge. This is a pan tool. Pan tool is to move this, to move it. You can move the canvas. Rotate view. Better you use the pan tool only, more easier. And this is the last one, the zoom tool. The zoom has a plus sign inside the magnifying glass. If you want to zoom in, you go on clicking. If you want to zoom out, press the Alt key, it will become minus inside the magnifying glass. Click it, you will zoom out. If you want to short away, 100% is here. So you zoom, 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 you 100%. Zoom, 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 come back to fit to screen. Play with different options and explore it. Whatever questions you have, you ask me later. What is what I will explain to you, just in case I've forgotten, and I'm sure I've forgotten a lot here, because Photoshop is very complex if you want to show everything. but to teach the basics, it's good enough for what I'm showing you right now. So to summarize everything today, we have learned tools, if not everything, at least 90-95% of it, and we have learned layers. So if you want to select any layer, select the move tool and click that layer, and on the right side it will select the layer. For example, the gradient layer here. I want to select the blue layer there. Automatically the layers get selected. I want to select a text layer. I want to select this gray layer. Automatically selects here, and then you can move only that layer. I want to move this layer, click it, and I move this layer. I want to move Trevor and move Trevor. I want to move the red one, move the red one. Okay, so that's it for now, guys. Any questions, please feel free and ask me. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for further videos. I'll be showing you a lot of videos, a lot about Photoshop, a lot about tips and tricks. So please stay tuned by subscribing to my channel. Thank you and see you next time. Hi everyone, welcome back. So today we are going to learn the file option and the edit option. In the next classes I'll be teaching you all the other options slowly. But today let's concentrate on just two options, file and edit. Yesterday we learned about the left hand side toolbar, about what each one of it does. I hope you have practiced it, but if not, no problem, you still have a lot of time. So let's go ahead and start with the file option and the edit option. So the file option, the first thing is new. As I showed you yesterday, new is new. You can open a new canvas, set your dimensions, the width, the height, and create. Done. Close. Second option is open. You can open any file that you want. So for example, I'll open say a landscape. Open. Done. Then we have open as. We don't use it. Open as smart object. You will not use it very often. Open recent. We'll open all your recent files. Close will close all. We close all your files that are open. For example, I open two files, 1 and 2, and I keep it here. File, close all, close all. If I open 1, 2, 3, open. If I say file close, it will only close one. File close all will close all. Then we have save. So for example, you open a file, you make a change, new layer, and you write something over here, for example, my name Trevor. And then you can file, save, and give whatever file you have. Now Photoshop saves everything in the format as PSD. So the main source file of Photoshop will always be PSD, in which all the layers will be there. So make sure if it's not there, you select PSD, Photoshop document here, and you click on save. Cool. I'm just closing it now, no changes required. The same with save as. Same file you can save in a different name. Check-in, revert, not for now. Export, not for now. Generate, not for now. Share on Behance, not for now. Search Adobe Stock, not for now. Place embedded, okay. So for example, you open this. Now if you see, there are two options, place embedded and place linked. If I say place embedded, it will embed an object into my file. For example, embed, I want to embed, say, this woman.jpg lady. So she's come here, you can see the cross mark, just hit enter, it will go. She's embedded in my document, I can move her around. Now if I open this file, open, and I open this file woman.jpg, it opens here. And if I make a change, say for example, my name Trevor, and I save it, nothing will reflect over here. That's because it's embedded. Now, for example, I place as linked. I place this file as a linked file. Place. Enter. Now if I open this woman.jpg in a separate file, and now I make a change, say Trevor. Now if I save this file, see what happens. I have saved this file, okay. Now you see what happens in the original document. The change reflects even on this file. Same thing here, whereas this does not happen with the previous option. Okay, so that's for that. So today I'm only going to show you the options of file and edit. Next we have package not required, automate not required, scripts not required, import not required. I'll be showing it to you later on as we progress more in different classes. Everything cannot be shown at the same time, but as we learn more, it will be easier to understand the other options. File info not required, print one copy, exit, fine, done. Now we come to edit. This will take a little more time. Now for example, undo, as everybody knows, it's undo into the next step. You make a change, you don't want it, you undo it. Step forward, step backward is one step front, one step back. Now let's go to fade. Fade. Okay, just to clarify this step forward, step backward, just in case you're confused. There's a difference between the undo and step forward and step backward. For example, I type Trevor. Edit, undo, and so on. Edit, undo will only undo the last step. Now for example, I write, say, TREVOR Trevor, and my next step is Lewis. So I've done 2 steps. Now edit, backward will take me 1 step back. Again edit backward, step backward will take me 1 step back, and so on. Whereas forward will again bring it back and bring it back. Basically you can go multiple times back, multiple times forward. That's the difference. In undo you can just go 1 time back. Okay, great. So now I delete it. Guys, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe because you'll get further updates in my next classes. So please hit the subscribe button below. Now we go to the next option, which is fade. Okay, it's not highlighted, so the reason being, we make a new layer, and for example I take the brush tool. Okay, the brush tool here. Now for example, say I make a brush like this. Now I want to fade it a bit. I can go to edit and fade the brush tool. Fade it by 50%. Opacity means the transparency. So here you go. Done. Undo it back. Undo. So it's fading it back. Okay. So we'll delete it. Next one is cut, copy merged. Cut, as everybody knows, it will cut it from the screen. For example, I make a copy of this layer. I hide this. I made a copy and I hit the behind layer. Now I take the marquee tool and I make a selection and I say edit, cut, gone, undo. Now I will say edit, copy. It's copied it, edit, paste, we'll paste it. You can see it here. Okay. It pastes in the new layer. It's a new layer here. See? Great. Now copy merged. Copy merged, for example, if you have multiple layers. So for example, you have a layer called, again my name Trevor, Now if I make a selection, now for example I will make it easier. Let me just open another image for you. So my references, I open this lady. Okay, now if I put my selection here and I say copy, and now I say edit paste, it will only paste the layer which I have selected, that was this layer. But if I want to make a selection of this area where it's selecting the layer of the background as well as the layer of the lady, now I can say edit copy merged. It will merge the layers and copy virtually. So copy merged. Now if I say edit paste, it will paste the layer merged. So for example, you can see it has copied the sky and the lady and it has pasted it as a new layer independently. Okay, that's the difference between this copy and a copy merged. Any questions, any doubts, please do ask me in the comment section. Okay, great. So let me now go to the next option, paste special. It's the same thing, I will show you. So I copy this area, edit, copy, edit, paste special, paste in place will paste it exactly in the same place, so there's no difference, same place. Okay, now edit, copy again, edit, paste into. For example, I make a selection here. Now I'll say edit, paste that copied thing into this option here. Okay, that's paste into. Now I say edit, copy, edit, paste special, paste outside. It has actually pasted it outside my, see, outside my selection. Got it? So that's the difference between all these different options of paste. Great. Now the next option is clear. Is just simply clear whatever is selected. For example, I make a selection over here and I say edit, clear. It's like a delete, gone. Great. Now search, check spelling, find and replace text, not used in Photoshop much, forget about it. You can use this in Word, Microsoft Word and blah blah. Here you can leave it. Okay. Now fill and stroke. Fill is another very simple tool, simple option. I make a new layer, I make a selection, my foreground color is black, I say edit, fill the foreground color, okay, black, done. It's the same as using the paint bucket tool, this tool here, same. Now the next one I say is stroke. Stroke is basically a border around the selection. So let me zoom inside so you get a better idea. Okay, so now my foreground color is black. I say edit, stroke. You have three options: inside the selection, middle of the selection, outside the selection. Now say I keep my pixels 5 pixels. I'll say inside the selection, 5 pixels inside the selection. Undo, edit, stroke, outside the selection, 5 pixels outside. Undo, again edit, stroke, center, so it will give you between. Okay, that's the difference of the stroke options. Now content ever scale, puppet wrap. This one we'll hardly use. It's basically to scale the image. Scale it. But for now, don't use it because it's used in a better way, which I will not explain right now. But as we do projects, you will use this option. Now the next one will be puppet wrap. Puppet wrap also is something where, for example, it will create a mesh on the object, and then you can move it. If you want to move, for example, just 1 minute. So basically you can select any of these points and you can move it. See? You can move the points. So basically you can wrap image around objects, which we will do it in more detail later on. But for now, just want to show you what this object does. What is this option for here? You can play with it at home, so you can explore it and you can see what you want to do and how do you use it. So this is the option, what it does, and it will show you the scale version. Control Z. Okay, now we go to the next one called perspective wrap. Perspective wrap also is a good option. Now for example, say I am going to put a truck on the road. Enter. I will make it a little small, so I will go to free transform. Now I'll make it a little small. But now it looks funny on this road. It needs to be in the position that is either going or coming. So what I will do is I will go to edit, perspective wrap. The cursor changes. Hit it on this canvas and you will get a grid. Now you take the point and you make it parallel to the line of the truck. Make sure that it is approximately in the same perspective of the truck. Okay, now over here it's a layout mode, you make it in the wrap mode. Now you press the shift button on your keyboard and the line becomes yellow as you come closer. Click it. So now you can click one of the node and you can move it. But I'm sorry, just forget what I told you right now. First we'll try to flip this image. I will show you this option later. So I'll just flip it for now. Horizontal. That's good. Now you can still see that the bus is not correct because it's looking funny on the road. So now we'll go back to the option, edit, perspective wrap, click it, get the grid. So you put one here, one here. Now you come to the wrap option, press the shift key on your keyboard, the line gets yellow, click it. Now you can move the object. So the back end should be a little bit narrow. And when you're done, you press enter. There you go. Plus you need to apply a little more filters here and there, which we'll do it later in more projects. But this is an approximate way of just to tell you how to use the tool. Okay, so that is for that. Next we come to transform. Free transform, I told you, will allow you to just scale the object. So I'm just deleting this layer, I don't need it anymore. Okay, so I, for example, insert another layer, say again maybe a same truck. So edit, free transform, as I said, you can scale it to whatever you want, and then when you are done with it, you just press enter like this. Enter, done. Okay, and then we go to transform. Again, we'll do the same thing that was done, the previous history. Now transform scale, it's the same thing as transform. You can just transform, but there's one difference between the transform, free transform, and transform scale. In transform scale, you can scale it down. You can just scale it up and down, nothing else. Free transform, as you scale it up and down, you can hold the control key, and as you come closer to a point, the cursor will change. You can move only that point. Okay, a little difference in two. Then we go to transform, rotate. Rotate, you can come to the edge and you can rotate the image. When you're done, you press enter, the cross marks go. Then skew, for skew, from the sides you can move the object. Skew, this is skew. You can make it, you cannot scale it, but you can just skew it, this way. Whatever you want, you can practice in. It's very similar to the perspective wrap option. So you can even use a combination of scale, a combination of free transform, and a combination of skew, and you can use it. So edit, transform, distort. You can just move and distort the object from any of the points. Similar to skew and all these things. Yeah? When you're done, press enter. Edit, transform, perspective. Perspective, if you move one point, the other one will move. See the difference? In the previous one, you could only move a point. Here you move one point, the other opposite point moves. the side point, sorry. Then transform, crop, it is somewhere you can move points to. Then enter. For effects, transform, rotate 180 degrees, edit, transform, rotate 90 degrees clockwise, edit, transform, counterclockwise, undo, edit, transform, flip horizontal, edit, transform, flip vertical. So you can practice all these options and you can just explore Photoshop, at least for the file and edit options. Now next two options you can see over here, auto align layers and auto blend layers. Yeah. So now let's do the auto align layer. Auto align layer, for example, I'll close this document and I'm going to open these two documents. Okay, the lady with the closed eye and the lady with the open eye. So two documents, one here, closed eye, one open eye. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this lady with the closed eye, edit, copy. I'm going to paste it on this document, edit, paste. So you see I have two layers, here and here. Now make sure the background layer is locked, so you just double click it and say OK, the lock goes. Now I want to make one eye open, one eye closed, so to show like a blink, but the images are not exact. So what I can do, I can select this layer and select this layer together. So to select multiple layers, you select one, press the shift key and select the other one. Now I'll go to edit, auto align layers, keep it on auto mode, auto option, so OK. Don't bother about these blank spaces, it's a transparent space. Now I'll select the layer 1 and I will put a mask. This is the mask option. I'll show more of it later. I just want to show you what is this auto layer option. So I'll select this. Now I'll take my eraser tool, and I will erase the eye, closed eye, to make one open eye. Okay. Now as you can see here we have blank space. So what I will do is I will put a new layer. I will go to my healing brush. Remember yesterday I showed you the healing brush. Now we'll put it to use. So make sure you keep sample all layers option selected and you just brush it here. Brush it here. Brush it here. It's auto healed and we are done. So just to show you auto option of auto align layers. Okay, so that's it. So I'll just close this one, so now we'll do the auto blend layer option, that is this one. For that I will open two images, say this one and this one, two ladies. Now what I will do is I want to put the eyes, nose and lips of this lady on this lady. So what I will do is, yesterday I showed you the lasso tool, click it, randomly select the region that you want. For example, we want this. Yes, I'm just doing it roughly, so just to show you the idea of how the option is used. Okay, if you do it neatly, you'll get a very good effect. Now I edit, copy, I come to this one, edit, paste. I go to edit, free transform, make it, I hold the shift button and I equally make it a little big. I hit enter. Looks funny, right? No problem. Now I want to remove the lock, so I double click the layer and I say OK. I come back to the first layer. I want to make a selection of this layer. The first layer, I want a selection. So to make a selection, you hold the control button and you click in this area here. The selection comes. Okay. Now since you have a selection in this layer, select the previous layer, the behind layer, and clear that area and the background layer. So for example, I'll say clear. Now what happens is this area is deleted from this layer like this. If I hide this, you'll see. You understand? Great. Now deselect it. Select outside. Now again you go and you say edit, transform, transform, hold the shift button and make this layer a little bigger than the selection and hit enter when you're done. Okay. Now select both the layers, edit, auto blend. Now. You see what the difference? The eyes, nose and lips of the previous lady, that is of this lady, is blended on this lady. You got it? So later on we'll do projects where you'll get a little bit advanced level of how to use these options. But as of now, these are the way we use the tools. Okay? So I'll close this one, close this one. Next option was, we finished auto align, auto blend, define brush preset, define pattern, define custom shapes, not useful for now. Purge we don't use, Adobe PDF we don't, presets no, remote connection no, color setting no. These are all like settings for Photoshop which you don't have to know right now. Later on as you get more and more advanced you can use it. But these are basics. Even if you don't use it, it doesn't matter. So guys, that's it for now. Today we learned the file option, the edit option. I hope you continue and you practice these options. I know they're not much, but for this class it's more than enough. So please practice it. Any difficulties, you put it down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and get further updates of when I release a new videos of the image options, layer options, type, select. We'll be going through all these options in different classes, and once we complete all these options, we'll start doing projects where we'll utilize all the tools and the options together to create projects. We'll make different projects which you will see later on. So please subscribe and stay tuned. Thank you for your patience and thank you for watching this video. Take care. Goodbye. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And previously we had learned about the toolbars, and then we learned about the file and edit option, and today we are going to study the image option. But before that, please, if you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe. Press the subscribe button below and subscribe to my channel so that you can get further updates on the next classes that I'll be releasing. So let's begin with directly, and you open the image, say this image. Now the image option is a very powerful option. It has a lot of options inside it and you can do a lot of manipulation to many images. You will see now. I'll be showing you a gist of what you can do, and I am hoping that you practice more of these options. And any questions, any doubts that you have, please put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer them. So the first option is the mode. In this you can set this image into different modes. You have a bitmap which normally has two colors, a grayscale, which is again black and white, a duotone, which you can have two tones in the image, plus you can add 3 tones, 4 tones. Index color, RGB, that's a red, green, blue, the most commonly used format. CMYK is mainly used for the print format. Lab color, again print, multi-channel variations I'll show you. 8 bits per channel, 16 bits per channel, 32 bits per channel. It's more technical, but right now we make sure everything is at 8 bits per channel. So let's first skip the bitmap and see what does grayscale do. So grayscale, control blah blah blah, it's a discard and it makes it a black and white image. Simple. Undo. Image, mode, index color, we'll do the similar thing, but here it makes it into a format where you can export it as a GIF, or you can say when I was new to this, I've used this option many times to export small images, mainly for the web as GIF and JPGs, but this is mainly used for the GIF formats. But for now we just leave it here. I undo. Image, mode, RGB is the one we are in. CMYK will make it into the 4-color mode. You can see it over here. The channels, cyan, magenta, yellow and black. Earlier, if I go to undo it back, you can see the channels will be red, green and blue. That was when it was on the RGB color mode. Then it became the CMYK mode. Lab color we will not use much, so I'll skip it for now. Multi-channel. As you can see, these are the layers here and these are the channels. So this is RGB. Inside that is a red, green and blue. Now I go to image, mode, multi-channel. You see what it's done. It's converted into cyan, magenta and yellow. So for now what we'll do is we'll just leave this part of it because it's getting a little complicated here and I don't want to involve this in the basics. But I will make another tutorial separately for this multi-channel and you'll get a better idea for it. So for now we'll skip this option and undo it and I'll get it back to the RGB. Great. So now we go to mode, 8 bits, 16 bits, you leave it at this. So in Photoshop the main thing you'll be using mainly is RGB color. So we'll keep it at that. Now the bitmap, this is the one which I had skipped and duotone I had skipped. Now for bitmap to be highlighted, you need to first make the image a grayscale. So say for example, I'll make a copy of the layer and I will make it image, mode, grayscale, flatten. It flattens both the layers and makes it one file, one layer. So I'll say flatten, discard, and now image, mode, bitmap. And you can save this file as a bitmap option. Now as I told you, bitmap is only 2 colors, so it's totally put some unfair mad effect on it, which is absolutely the olden type of images. When we used to use this total GIF images. So as of now we're not going to use this, but I just wanted to show you what does the bitmap version look like. So I'm going to undo this now. And now I'll go to this duotone option. Now for duotone also I'll do the same thing. I will make it a grayscale, flatten and discard. Now image, mode, duotone. Now its monotone is a single color, duotone is 2, tritone is 3 and quadtone is 4. So I'll come to duotone. Now I can add color to it. So I want to add 2 colors, red and green. or I want to make it a blue and white. So whatever two colors you want to use, you can use. If you want to add one more color, make it try, and you can make it now green also. Whatever color you want, you can just play around with it and add to it. Yeah, this all is technical, leave it. If you keep the preview option previewed, you can see the changes that you make. If you deselect the preview option, you cannot see the changes that affect over here. So keep the preview mode selected. So whatever changes you make here, you can immediately see it here before applying it and saying the OK. All ink names must be specified. So you need to give it a name, for example, purple, yellow, green, and hit OK. That's it. So I'll undo it back. So for the mode, that's all for the beginners level. So we'll go to adjustments. Now there's a lot happening in adjustments. Most of it is quite similar, but I'm not going to explain everything to you, but I will show you what's happening in the image. Like for example, the brightness and contrast. So if I click the brightness and contrast, see what happens when I make the movements. I increase the brightness, I decrease the brightness. I increase the contrast, I decrease the contrast. So you can play around with all these, yeah. Then image, adjustments, levels. I can adjust the levels of the colors. Right now it's on RGB, red, green and blue all together. But say I want to adjust the level of the red color. I can increase the red, decrease the red. Say I want to increase or decrease the level of the green color. So I can do like this way. So based on that, you can adjust the levels of individual channels, that's individual colors, or on the whole you can increase all together RGB. Plus you can play around with this option and see the difference. And if you're satisfied with something, hit the OK button. Okay, so let's undo back. Then we go to image, adjustments, curves. Again, curves are quite similar. You can adjust individual channel or the full thing as a whole. Make it brighter, darker, up, down. You can add points to it. You can increase, decrease, do whatever you want. If you're happy, press OK. Image, adjustments, exposure. It's quite similar again. Most of it is quite similar, but if you go into technicality, there's a little difference. But I don't want to go into that right now. I just want to explain the beginner's level, so you can just see what's happening on the tutorial side of it. And when you're happy with it, you can click OK. So I'll undo back. Image, adjustment, vibrance, I don't use it much. I'll go to hue and saturation. It's the same again. Either you do it for different channel colors, or you do it just overall in the master. So you can play around with these options, so when you're doing any manipulation, you can understand what you want to do for which part of the image. And then we'll go to image, adjustment, color balance is again the same thing, adjusting the color balance of the colors. You have got highlights, you have got shadows. You can try all of them, explore all the options so that you get to know what option does what. And when you're happy with it, OK. So it looks. Undo. Image, adjustment, black and white to make it a black and white image. And you can again play with the options, but black and white is black and white. You can just make it dark, light, or whatever you want. Image, adjustment, photo filter, I'm not going to use right now. Channel mixer, again it's a little technical, which I don't want to use right now. So we'll skip this for now. Image, adjustment, color lookup, not required now. Invert will invert the colors. It's going to invert it. Image adjustments, posterize is again a different type of effect. You can either explore it. Any questions, please ask me in the comments. There's nothing much to explain in this, otherwise I have to go full technical, so I just want to show you what each option is doing. For technicalities, I'll be making a separate video individually to explain individual functions. So please subscribe and keep in touch with this channel. Now we'll go to threshold. It's similar. It converts it to black and white, and then you can adjust the threshold of the black and white. Then you're happy? Okay. Image adjustments, gradient map, a gradient option. Say you want to adjust it to blue, and then you want to change the blue color, you want to change it to maybe red, then you want to change this white color to blue or say green. So it's again a gradient option you apply to the image, and when you're happy, okay, you can reverse it down and you can try different options. Image adjustment, selective color. Selective color is like, now I want to change only the blue part of it. So say, or forget that, say in the green I want to increase or decrease the color of the green. Blue. See the sky. Yellow. So you can select individual color and you can play with the addition and subtraction. Cancel. Image adjustment, shadows and highlights. You can increase and decrease it, the amount of shadows and highlights in the image. As per your convenience, whatever you like, you can settle at that and put OK. Image adjustment, HDR toning is a little advanced, which we'll not be discussing right now. Desaturate will desaturate the full image. It will make it like a grayscale and it will take off all the saturation. Image adjustment, match color. You can explore all these options so that you understand, and tomorrow when you're editing any image, it will automatically strike you what option to use where, depending on what output do you want. So you just explore these options and you see. Image adjustments, replace color. Now for example, if I want to select only the blue color, see the moment I come to this window, this color picker will come. So say I want to select this blue color and I want to replace this blue color to maybe say this red. So I can select the blue color to red. So I want this color, I want to make it yellow. This color I want to make it say, now it's the previous one is gone because of the selections get deselected. So if you want to select multiple, you select one, you can press a shift. So I want to make this and this, so I will make it say red. Then I will go to image adjustment. I want to make this color, I want to make it say green. Okay, and okay. If you're happy, cool enough. Not happy, undo it back. Then we'll go to image adjustments, equalize. This is something which just tries to equalize the colors between the image. So so it automatically sets it as per what Photoshop thinks is best. You can see the difference. I do image, adjustment, equalize. It's adjusting the whites. Every image you will get a different output, so you can try it with different images. And then that takes care of the adjustment part of it. Now auto tone, auto contrast, auto color will do everything by itself. You may sometimes see a difference in the image, you may not see it. For example, image, auto tone. In this image you don't see much, but for example if I open say this image, auto tone, you see the difference, it got brighter here. See, this was the original and then it got brighter. If I put image, auto contrast, again it made a slight change in this area. Undo, image, auto color, again it did it as per what Photoshop feels is required, but this is not necessarily maybe what you require. So you can play with other adjustments and try to achieve what you want. So I'll close this image now. Image size. Now image size is this full thing is an image and this is the size that is there. So if you want to make the image size smaller, say now I'll go to image size, it is 1000, say I'll make it 800. Make sure to keep this link mark selected. If you do not keep it selected, it will not be in proportion. Like for example, if I make this 2000, automatically the height also will be in proportion. But if I need to see the difference, for example I made it 800, 500, and according to that the height became in proportion 282, became like this. In proportion the width and height became smaller. But if you deselect this and only make it 500 here, only the width will become 500, it will stretch. So always make sure whatever size you change, you always keep the link matched. Okay, so this will only increase or decrease the image size. Now I want to canvas size, I say I'll make it pixels first and make 700, and so the width will be 700. So if I say okay, you'll see from here till here is 700. Now image canvas size, say I'll make the height say 500, so up and down it will totally be 500. Now say I undo, image canvas size, I only want to increase this area, this side. So say now make sure you select this, the dot should be here so that it will increase towards the right side. So in pixels it was 500, say now I'll make 700. So the full 200 will come towards the right. And say I want to increase from bottom, so I will select the top portion, the arrow points down, and the height I want to make it, say it's 282, I'll make it 582. So the extra 300 pixels will come down. Got it? But this is the canvas and this is the image. See? Image size was decreased previously and your canvas size is increased. So there's a difference between canvas size and image size. Okay? I'll just undo back to the normal size. Image rotation, you can rotate the image 180 degrees or you can rotate it 90 degrees clockwise or 90 degrees counterclockwise. So please explore the options. Crop is something which is very easy. You take the crop tool, you select whatever you want and image crop, done. Then trim is a little different. Now for example, I make a new file, create, and I'm inserting this image in this file. So I'll just make a selection, edit, copy, I come back to this file and I say edit, paste. Now if I go to image and trim, it will delete the white area and keep only the image. It asks you from where and what you want to do. I'll say trim from all sides, top, left, right, bottom, all. That's it. This is a trim option. So close, image, reveal all. Now reveal all is something that is, for example, I make a new image, file, new. Say I am putting this truck over here. Okay. Now you can see half of the truck is outside the canvas and half is inside. Now if I say image, reveal all, it will expand the canvas to fit the full image. So that's the reveal all function. Image duplicate will, this is one image, I make image duplicate, it will make a duplicate image. You can give it a name or you can just, okay, and there are two images here, 1 and 2. Image, apply image. Again, apply image, you can work around with different channels, you can change. For example, it's on RGB, say I want to put the red, I want to give it a different blending mode. So I can apply a different blend either on the red, green, blue individually or red, green, blue as a whole. And whichever mode I want, I can apply onto this channel or the RGB mode. You can explore different options. Image calculations. This is a little more technical, which I don't want to discuss right now. So I leave this option and I will make a separate video on this. So please subscribe and stay tuned for this. It's a very nice option. Variables, apply data, trap and analysis is more technical, which we will not be using it for a long time. So even if you do not know anything about this, it doesn't matter. You can still become a pro in Photoshop with everything else. So guys, that's it for now. The image function, I don't want to make this video very big or it's very difficult to study. So I'm going to keep it small, and today it's only about the image function. So next I'll be discussing the layer function. So please subscribe and stay tuned, and if you have any questions, any doubts till then, please put it in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer it. Thank you, take care, and goodbye till the next class. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you the new option, and that's going to be the layer options. We have finished the toolbar, we finished the file, we finished edit, and we finished image, and today we'll be learning the layer options. Well, if you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe for more updates and click the bell icon too. So let's get started. The layer option, all this 80 to 90% is also in the layer panel here. So I'll show you correspondingly how both function. So the first option we start is new. It's new layer. When I click new layer, I can give it a name, say new, and I say okay. A new layer opens here. The same as adding over here, new layer. So I'll delete it. Next, new layer from background. Now say for example, I make a new copy this layer and I name it layer 1, and this one I name it layer 0. Now if I want to make this back into background, the default original background layer, I can go to layer, new, background from layer. It converts it back to background. Layer, new, group. So if I make one more layer, test, and I make something over here, a square, and I make one more layer, circle, and I put a circle here. Now if I move this, only the circle will move. If I move a rectangle, rectangle layer will move. If I want to move both together, I can just select both layers and I can either click on this icon, group, or I can layer, new, group from layers. Okay, and it combines both the layers inside the group. But if I only say group, layer, new, group, it just makes a new folder group, and then I need to add this inside the layers. That's the difference between the two, group and group from layers. So next, if you have any doubts, any questions, please do post it in the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer it. Now artboard. Artboard is something that you can use. It's for mobile development and various formats. I'll show you. Now for example, if I want to convert this full thing into an artboard, it's a layer, layer, new, artboard, and I've got options here for iPhone, Android, mobile design, web design, MacBook, and I can select whatever. Say I will select for iPhone 6 Plus. Okay, so you see it's made the artboard as per the iPhone 6 dimensions, and I can work in that, but you'll not be using that much in Photoshop for basics. Then layer, same goes with artboard from group and artboard from layers. We'll not be studying this because it's not that important for now. Layer via copy makes a copy of a layer. The same as you drag it to the new layer and you'll get a copy. So that completes this. Now copy CSS. This is again used for web design and all. Like for example, say if I write my name Trevor. Say I make the font, say agency, I make it bold, I make the point so and so. Agency, and my font size I make 48, maybe 60. Sorry, I'm adjusting the wrong part. I make this a 60 or 72. Now Photoshop has got an option where you can copy CSS, the same as layer, copy CSS, and if I open Notepad, I can paste the CSS. So it's copied my name, it's made a class, it's for web design and little programming, for the cascading style sheets, that's CSS. It's taken the font in pixels, font family, agency, color, black, and it's put a lot of things. So this can be used for your web design aspect. not very useful for now, but yes, it's useful for developers and designers with developing knowledge. So let's hide this layer. Copy SVG is again a different thing which I'll not explain right now because I myself don't use it right now. Now say I want to duplicate the layer, so I can say layer, duplicate layer. So if I have my name here, I'll say layer, duplicate layer. Layer, duplicate layer, and I get one more copy which made a duplicate of the layer. It's the same as I drag it here and I'll get a copy, same. Okay, layer, delete. So I can delete the layer selected. Whichever layer you select, you can delete it. Layer, hidden layers. Layer, delete the hidden layer. I've hidden it here and I can delete it. This was deleting visible layers, this is deleting hidden layers. Okay. And layer, quick export as PNG. Now I can export this layer only, that's Trevor, as a PNG. Layer, I'll export it as a PNG. So I'll save it over here. And if I go to my Explorer, reference 1, and you see here it's saved it as a PNG file. So only the layer it's taken and saved it. Now the next option is layer, export as, excuse me, PC is a little slow. You've got different options over here where you can play around with the options, and once you're ready you export it. But I don't use these options right now. The best option is file, and over here you've got export to whatever you want. Okay, this is the most convenient one. Export as. Where's that gone? This one. Export it for the web, and you've got a lot of options here also. JPG, GIF, and all the basics. But this one I rarely use, and I'm sure you also not be using it much. Export as. Next is rename layer. Now you see my layer name over here is Trevor, here it's layer 1. Say I want to rename this to circle. Either I can double click it and write it circle, rename, or I can go to layer, rename layer, circle. You can choose whatever you want. Next is smart filter. So as you see, the smart filter is not highlighted. For that you need to, for example, I go to layer 1, that's my background copy, this one, I highlight it, I go to filter, convert to smart filter, say OK. Now I apply a filter, say stylize oil paint, and you see this filter, it's normal, this is oil paint effect, and this is normal effect, so I'll say OK. Now I go to layer, smart filter. As you can see over here, there's a smart filter applied, oil paint, and it's all masked over here. So now for example, I can smart filter, I can disable smart filter, it disables over here. Layer, Smart filter, enable smart filter. It's again enabled it. You can see the eyes. Layer, smart filter, delete filter mask. There was a mask here, you could see a white box. It's gone. I'll explain masking in detail a little later. And we're back. In layer, smart filter, disable filter mask. It's just disabled it. It's not deleted it, but it's disabled the mask layer. Then undo it. Layer, smart filter, clear smart filter. Will come back to original state. So that's the options. Then layer, new fill layer. Say I'll fill a new layer. Different, but I will, for example, make another rectangle, circle, sorry, and I will change the color to say red. Now I'll fill this circle in a new layer. So layer, fill, new layer, solid color. I will take my red color selected. I can change to whatever I want also. Okay, so it comes in a new layer. And then layer, new adjustment layer. You see the new adjustment layer here has got lots of options. You can practice all these options, and there's a shortcut here too. These are all adjustment layers. So say for example, my name I put over here Trevor. I make a layer, or I take this circle, I go to layer, new adjustment layer, and say I want to make it, I think better it's, I'll select the layer, background layer, and now I'll say layer, new adjustment layer, brightness and contrast. So okay, now you can see here there's one adjustment layer added, and it will affect my brightness and contrast of the layer 1 which is selected. So there's a adjustment layer added only to layer 1. It will not affect the triangle, sorry, the rectangle, circle, nothing. Okay. Now layer content options. So say for example, this is not highlighted. So for example, I make adjustment layer, say gradient. I say OK. Now I can go to layer and layer content options, and I can modify whatever I want in this adjustment. If not, I can just double click it and I'll get the same thing and modify whatever you want, and whatever. And then layer mask. It's now for example over here, this is mask. You can add a layer mask. So for example, I add a layer mask. Now if I select the black color as a foreground color and I use my brush tool, I can delete from the layer. And if I inverse my foreground color to white and I brush it, I can add the deleted part back. So it's masking the layer. It's called masking. Okay. Now layer mask, I can delete it. Layer mask, transparency. Layer mask, reveal. Layer mask, disable. It disables the layer mask. It's not deleted it. I go to layer mask, unlink. Will only unlink the link icon from here. Layer mask. Layer I created from a transparency. Now layer mask. You can play around with these options. So for example, if I hold the control button and click the icon over here on the layers, we will make a selection on that layer. So now layer mask, reveal all, it adds a mask. Layer mask, Z, layer mask, hide all. It's hidden the contents. Layer mask, reveal selection. Only this portion is revealed by hiding the selection. Layer mask, hide selection. It's taken away the full object along with the selection. Layer mask and transparency. That was the before option which I taught you. So next let's go for a clipping mask. Now what is a clipping mask? For example, say this layer is white color. Now this circle, I want to put half of it inside the rectangle. So I take my circle layer on top of the rectangle. I name it rectangle. So for example, you just select the top layer and you say layer, create a mask. So you see the circle is gone inside the layer. It's the same as you can just hold the control key on your keyboard and come between. You hold the Alt key and you come in between the two layers and you will see your cursor changing. You click and it adds a clipping mask. Same. If not, you can go to layer, create clipping mask. It's the same. Okay, now layer, vector mask is the same, but when you are playing with vector objects. Now we're just dealing with normal objects, pixelated ones. So this one leave. So clipping mask, we got it. Smart objects. Now you can convert any object into a smart object. For example, say I convert this layer 1 to a smart object. Either I can right click and convert to smart object. See here the icon changes. If not, I can go to layer, smart objects, convert to smart objects. Now what happens is a smart object, see for example I double click it, it opens the layer as a new file. And now if I make some changes, say I brush here something, now I save this file. You see it opened one more file here. File, I say save. Then I close it. Whatever changes I made in this file will reflect in my main file. It will be linked there. See? This is the file, smart object. It's linked. So now say I convert my text layer into a smart object. Same as right click and convert, or layer, smart object, convert to smart object. Now you see I cannot use the text tool to edit it. So what I will do, I will double click the icon on the layer panel and I will make it Lewis. I'll edit it, I'll be okay. It's cut off, my canvas size is small, so I'll use the crop tool and I will increase it. And I will say file, save. Yes. Close, and it's added over here. That's easy. Oops, what happened? Okay, because it's on crop tool, so the crop preview came. It's okay, let's deselect it. Then we go to layer, it's all the similar options for a smart object. I'll be making a separate tutorial for smart objects, so please stay tuned and please view that. So now, for example, new smart object via copy, we'll make a copy of the same layer. Ctrl Z, layer, smart objects, update modified content. So for example, I'm modifying this again. So L. Layer, smart objects, update all modified content, or if I can go back, layer, smart object, it's the same. So I will just file, save, layer, smart object, update all modified content. And doesn't matter. It's basically just used to update the content that you modify. So if you have modified a lot of smart objects, you can just click the update all modified and it will update everything into this main file. Please see the full tutorial on smart objects which I'll be making later. So now I'll say edit contents. It comes to the same thing as double clicking the smart object icon. Layer, smart object, relink to file. So for example, I made this also a smart object. So for example, layer, smart object, relink to file. So I now replace it with this graphic. It changes the file. Now we go to layer, smart objects, replace content is almost the same as replacing the content. So it's deleted my background for me and it's replaced with the lady. Layer, mask, sorry, smart objects. Export content will only export this layer content to a file. Cancel, layer, smart object, embed all link, convert to linked, stack mode and rasterize. Till stack mode will not be using much, but rasterize will convert it and flatten it to a normal pixel. Basically it will take off all the smart features. See, it's gone. It's just the normal file now. You cannot edit it anymore. The background. Same as this. If I go to this one and I say layer, smart object, rasterize, that's it. Now I cannot modify this text. I cannot do anything to it. Only I can modify the color and effects, but I cannot change the wordings. The letters cannot be modified. So it's always good to leave it as a smart object. Now layer. Okay, so we come to video layers. I'll not be explaining because we are not doing video here. Rasterize is the same as converting the text into a flat layer. That means you can't edit the text. Like for example, it's the same as right click and rasterize layer. It converts it and removes the icon from you. So layer, rasterize. Either you rasterize this layer, it's the same as right click and rasterize layer, or you layer and rasterize all layers. That means all layers. This was a smart object, this was a text object, it will rasterize everything. layer, rasterize. If you have a fill content, it will rasterize the fill content. If you have a shape, it will rasterize the shape. So whatever you have, it will rasterize those things. Type, for example, if I have a separate type, only a type layer, say Lewis, and it will layer rasterize only the type. You cannot edit anymore. Okay, so next we'll go to new layer base slice. It makes it a slice. You can see these lines that are added. Basically, you can slice these images and save them into separate files. That means I can save this as one file, this as one file, this as one file, and this as one file. So this could be one file here, this will be one file, this will be 2, this will be 3, and this will be 4. But it's made the slices based on the layer. Now for example, if I choose another layer, say this layer, the circle layer, new layer based on slice, it makes it a slice as per this layer. But you'll not need it for now at least. Let's undo that back. Now layer, group layers. So for example, I want to select one, hold the shift key 2, hold the shift key 3, and I say layer, group layers. It's grouped it here. Now I say layer, ungroup layer. It's ungrouped it. Now you can see the eye over here, that means it's visible. So if I say layer, hide layers, it will hide these 3 layers. It's gone. I can either bring it back over here, or I can layer, show layers. It's brought it back. So you can hide from here and you can show from here. Same. Now layer, arrange. Now bring to forward, bring backward is basically very simple. Say I keep the white behind, the grey in the front. So now I say layer, arrange, send backward, it will send it one layer backward. If I say layer, arrange, send to back, will send it last. So it's basically gone behind this image. Now I'll say layer, arrange, bring forward, it will bring it one layer forward. That means it will just move it to here. If I say layer, arrange, bring to front, it will bring it right in the front. Yeah. Okay. Now layer, combine shapes. First I need to make a shape. So I make a new layer. I take my shapes tool and I make one rectangle layer. You make sure when you select the shapes tool, you select shape here. Now I will select, make a rectangle and new layer. I will make a circle. Okay. Now layer, I select both, layer, combine shapes. I can either unite it so they become one, or I can layer. So you select both the layers and you say layer, okay. Sorry. So I'll select both the layers and I'll say layer, combine shape. You can subtract, you can unite shapes at overlap, so only the middle portion remains, or you can subtract shapes and overlap, so only the outer part is remaining and the middle part is gone, like this. So you can please play with the options and see each option as it suits you the best. Now layer, align. So for example, if I say I select my two layers, layer, align, I can either align it on top, middle, bottom, or left, horizontal, center, and right. So for example, I make it top, so it's aligned on top. Say I layer, align, bottom, it will align bottom, layer, align, horizontal, middle. So that's how we just play around and see what is what. Now layer, distribute is the same as align. So now for distribute, you need to make at least 3 layers have to be selected. So for example, say I'll make one more layer and I will make it into a custom shape. Say, okay. Now I can use select one layer, hold shift 2, 3. I go to layer, distribute. So it again, it's the same thing, but it's distributing it. So layer, distribute, vertical. It's adjusting it on the center axis. Layer, distribute, bottom. Layer, distribute, left. So it's basically everything is based on the center axis. Okay. Now layer, lock layers. Now if you see shape, this layer I can move it. I can just say layer, lock. Now what I want to lock, I'll say I lock all. Basically I just don't want the layer to move. So now you see this, I cannot move this layer. It's taking the next layer as I said. I'm selecting the layer here, but it's showing locked. It's the same as using this key, lock. It's the same as locking from layer, lock layer. Most of the people, they just lock it from here, which is the best thing to do. Now we can either just use this also. Okay. Now if it's not a smart object, you can also lock it from here. And it comes the same thing. Lock this one. Now actually this layer locking is a little different. If I use this option, now for example I have white here, I want to fill this. If I say Alt and backspace, is supposed to fill the layer, but I only want to fill the contents of this layer, so I just lock it and I use Alt and backspace, only the content get filled. Okay, so it's the same as using layer, block layers, but transparency. Okay, so it selects this and fill. So you're only locking the transparency. So there are different options here. It's the same as here. Layer, lock layers, the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is lock all 5. Okay. Now layer, link layers. Now let's see that part. So now for example, say my Trevor L layer, the rectangle layer, and the Lewis layer. I'm moving them separately. Now if I hold a shift, and I select these 3 layers, I'll say layer, link layer. So these 3 layers are linked. Now I can use any one and I can move it. So for example, if I use this layer, all 3 will move. If I select Lewis and move the Lewis layer, all 3 will move. So that's the linking part. Now layer, unlink layers. If I it's only unlinked this, but if I select all three and I can layer the 3, so 1, 2, 3, so layer, unlinked layers, all are gone. Now layer, linked layer. So say for example I layer, link layers. Now if I go to any other layer and I click on layer, sorry, first I select link layer, selecting both layers. So for example, if I am using this and I'm linking these 3 layers and I select only one layer, now I can go and say layer, select link layers, it will select all these 3 layers. And that's it. So I'll just go to next option. Now merge layers, merge visible, flatten image. Before that I just want to take off my linking, so I'll just unlink layers. So now you can see layer merge down. So for example, I want to merge these 3 layers. So I say layer, merge, it's changing to shape because these are shapes, so I'll say merge shapes. It's merged all, so it's made it into one layer. Now say for example I want to layer, merge layers, we'll merge these 2 layers into one. These 2 are merged into one. So see, Lewis and circle. Now say for example merge visible, so I'm hiding this and I only want to merge Lewis and rectangle, so it will merge, sorry, I'm hiding few layers, and now whichever layers are visible it will merge only those layers. So layer, I'll select my layers and I'll say layer, merge visible, it will only merge the visible layers and the ones which I have hidden are not merged. And the last option over here is layer, flatten image. Flatten will flatten all the layers and it will make it one into a background layer. So layer, whether you select anything or don't select, it will just flatten all the hidden and unhidden layers, visible layers. Flatten. Discard. Okay, so it's done. Okay, so that's all for the layer menu. Matting is something which we're not going to use, so I'm not going to explain that. So please practice all these options, and any doubts you have, please let me know in the comment section and I'll feel really happy to answer all of the questions. So thank you and see you for the next class, which will be the type and select. So please do subscribe and click the bell icon. Thank you. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So we have finished already the toolbar, the file option, edit option, image option, layer option. Today I'll be teaching you the style, select, filter. I will explain just briefly, view and window, and with that we can wrap up the basic of Photoshop. So let's get started, but before that please do subscribe if you have not subscribed for more updates. So let's start directly with type. The first option I'll not be explaining because it's not related to basics. So let's go to the panels. Let me first type something here. So I'll type my name Trevor, Trevor Lewis, that's my surname. I select it, and over here I have the text options. So the font, I'll keep it as agency. Size, maybe I'll make it 36 or 72. Okay. So type, panels, character panel will give you a character window over here. If you click it directly, you'll get it over here also. Then you have panel, paragraph panel, it's the next one at the side over here. Over here you can change the same things that you see on top. When you select the text tool over here, you see over here the font, the boldness, the size, crisp, it's all here also. Plus you have a paragraph option here. Then type panel, glyphs panel is basically special characters you can insert. If I want to insert something, say this, I'll just double click it and it comes. I'll just hide it back. Type, panels. These two I'll not be explaining because you'll not be requiring it in the basics, so you can just skip it for now. I don't think you'll be using it also. Then we come to anti-alias. Anti-alias is something you can see when I zoom in. Okay. Now if I say type anti-alias none, you see it's become very sharp. The edges have become very sharp. Now if I say type anti-alias crisp, it gets smoother. This is the standard one that we use. Type anti-alias sharp, makes it sharper. It's different from none. Type anti-alias strong. Type anti-alias smooth. But normally we work with anti-alias crisp. Okay. Type anti-alias Windows, LCD and Windows is not required. Then we go to orientation, horizontal or vertical. Now it's horizontal, I can make it vertical. And I can get it back to horizontal. Then type, open type, we'll not be using it because normally this is used when you use a particular font for Windows and Mac, so you don't need to load two different fonts. It will be an open type of font which we will not discuss here because it's not for the basics. Extrude to 3D will give you a 3D option. If you're about to go to a 3D layer, say yes, and it takes you to a 3D panel. You see, it's made it into 3D. And you have a camera option here where you can see the top, right angle, top angle, front angle, back angle, front angle, and you have a separate 3D panel over here, so you can just play around with the values. So I'll just go back to what it was. And my workspace, I'll get it back to essentials because it changes it to 3D. Then type create work path. It will basically, I'll zoom inside so that you can see. Type create work path, we'll just make it a path where I can modify the design. So if I go to this arrow, I can just click on it and we can make it a separate. I can modify the path, change the shape, and if I go to my paths panel over here, I'll have a new path. So I can right click and I'll say make selection of it, and I'll get a new selection of the path that I created right now. So I can just go to new layer and I can fill it just to modify the text. So I'll go back to this thing, then type, convert to shape. Now it will make it a similar look, it will be, but you see the difference. Now if I go to arrow and I move any point, it will move the color also, and the text is not editable anymore. I cannot edit the text, I cannot change the word, I cannot make it Trevor Lewis with another S, I cannot. It's converted into a shape. I'll just undo it. Okay. You see over here when there's a T, that means it's editable. I can click it and I can add anything. Once I make it into a shape, it's just a shape, it's not a text anymore. So it's just a shape, I cannot edit it. Basically I cannot change the word, I can just edit the color, shape and all. Now next one is rasterize type. Rasterize will basically again make it uneditable and it will make it into a flat layer. I can either do it by right clicking and rasterizing the type, or I can go to type and rasterize type layer. So that's it, it's converted into a flat layer. I cannot edit it anymore. I can only change the color and filters and effects. You normally use this when you're exporting a file and you don't want to have the next person or the next operating system or anything missing any font. So you just rasterize the full file and you don't have any issues with fonts. Then we go to convert to paragraph text. If you see now when I click text, it's just a line below the text. But now if I say type, convert paragraph text, makes it more like a paragraph. I can just go on changing it and I can change it into a paragraph basically. And I can change all attributes. It's more like a paragraph. I can wrap it into the box and I can do various things. Then type, where will be? Okay, rasterize, convert to point text. With this option, I'm not going to do this because I don't use it and I've never used it also. So I'll skip this option for now. So type wrap text. So paragraph text was what we already discussed. Wrap text is now not wrap, so warp text. I can just change it into any different shapes. I can change the blend mode basically to place it over objects or any way. So you can play around, and any questions you have, please put in the comment section. That's a warp text. Type match font. So for example, you do not know any font, which font is used. You just go to match font, you select it, and it will give you a matching type of font. Not used much, but an option. Still searching. So you've got similar fonts and you can use any one of them. Type font preview size. Okay, now when I select the text, when I go here, you see this preview over here. This is the size. You can see it's small. Now if I go to type font preview size, I make it large. Now if I go here, the preview will become bigger. You see the preview has become bigger over here. That's the only difference. So I'll just keep it back to small because I do not like it very big. Okay, now type. Language options we will not discuss because it's not required. Update all text layer, replace missing fonts, resolve missing fonts, and all this balance is something that we will not discuss because it's not required in the basics and it's not used much. So that summarizes the type option. Now we'll go to the select option. Select option also is very simple. So for example, I make a new layer and I draw a selection. Select, deselect. Select all, we'll select the full border, the full canvas. So deselect. If I say select, reselect, it will again reselect it. Now inverse. Now say for example I make a selection and I want to inverse the selection, I'll just say select and inverse. It will inverse the selection and make it opposite. And then select all layers. Now I have got two layers over here, layer 1 and travel layers. I have selected one. If I say select all layers, it will select both the layers. And if I have many more, it will do the same. Then we will select, deselect layer, will deselect the layer again. Find layer. For example, in my layer panel, if I've got many layers and I cannot find it, I can use the find layer option. I'll just, for example, now try to find layer travel layers. So I'll say find layer and I will type over here, you see here, travel layers. And you see it's showing me on that layer. It's the same as over here. You have options. Keep it on kind, it will give you all. If you want to find a name, you put name and you just type what you want over here. It will give it to you. Okay? Then we go to select, isolate layers. Now for example, if I want to select, I'm working on this layer, travel layers. Say on layer 1 I make a rectangle and I'm working only on travel layers. So I can just go to select and isolate all the other layers and I will work only on this. And when I want to bring it back, I will just bring it back to kind. Then we go to select color range. Now color range also is nice. For example, I select the background, I say select color range. Now see, select only that blue area. Again, if I go, I say select color range, this clouds. I say okay. I selected the clouds. Select color range. Again, I say clouds, and I can add to it again to increase the area, and I say okay. So it selects a little more. So it's just to play with it, and any questions please message me in the comment section. Focus area. For focus area, for example, I have this file, so I'll just say select focus area, and now you see here you can adjust the focus area. So I just want to extract the lady from the white background. So if I do this too much, I'll come back, okay, I'm happy with this for example, and I'll say output it to a new layer. So I'll say okay, now I've got the lady on a new layer, and if I add a new layer and I put the color, the lady is on a new layer. If you work minutely, you can do a very good finish. This is just an example I showed you. Now we will go to select and mask. It's almost the same. For example, I'll take my quick selection tool and I'll select this lady. if you want to minus the selection, you press the Alt key and you minus the selection. So say for example I've selected this lady. Now I can either say select and mask, or I can use this select and mask over here. So I'll say select and mask, and now you can use the brush and you can refine the edges. But for now I'm not going to do anything because I just want to show you the option. So if I'm happy with it, I'll just say output to a new layer again, and OK. And again the ladies come on a new layer, so I'll make a layer and I'll show you. So again a new layer. It's the same option but in a different technique. Okay, now we go to select, modify. Okay, now modify, come back to my file. Say for example I have a selection. Okay, this is my selection. Now I'll select, modify the border. I'll say give me a 4 pixel border, so I will get a border. You see over here, when I zoom in you see I have a border here. I made a border. Before it was like this, and then with the border I got it like this. Then I can make a new layer and I can fill it. Okay, done. Then say for example select, modify, smoothen it. You see the edges are sharp, and say select, modify, smoothen it. Say by 10 pixels. Say OK. I get a curve. So now if I put, it's got a curve edge. See? Okay. I'm undoing it. Now select, modify, expand. Say you want to expand the square by 5 pixels from all sides. So I'll say 10 pixels from all sides. So 10, 10, 10. So I'll say OK. It'll expand it. So it's just to expand the box. And then I'll say select, modify, contract. Now you decrease it by 10 pixels. So make the selection smaller. Select, modify, feather. Feather. Now if I fill this box, you see I got a sharp edge over here. Say I want to have a smooth edge. I'll say select, modify, feather, and I will say 10. Okay. Now when I fill it, you see it's a difference. It's feathered out the edges. So that's the difference of feather. Select, modify. Now grow. For grow also, if I say select, so I say select the background layer and I say select, where is it not coming? I'll say for example I select the sky and I say select, grow. It's selected wherever it could see blue. Like for example if I select the cloud and I select grow, it's not giving the correct output. Select, grow, select, grow. But because the background was not selected. So now if I say sky, select, grow, it's tried to take all this color range and increase the selection. If I say, but make sure you select the background, that's why it was not coming earlier. So now I select the sky and I say grow the selection. It will select all that color range wherever it can find. Okay. Then there's something called as similar. It's again the same thing. If I select the sky, it will select similar areas of color. You see. Again, if I select the clouds and I say select similar, it will select similar color ranges. Same with the grass I make a selection, let's say select similar, it will select the grass area. So that's the difference. Now we have transform selection. Say for example I make a selection and now I want to make the selection bigger. I have to make a new one. Let's say I want to make the same selection bigger. Let's say select, transform selection, and then make it bigger. Happy with it, hit the enter, and the selection is bigger. Okay. Then there's something called as edit in quick mask mode. For that, let me go to the next image. Again, it's the same as select and mask option I showed you earlier. Similar, but it's called a quick mask mode. By pressing Q, you can go into the mode. And the icon is over here also, quick mask mode. You can toggle between it. So say for example, I say select edit in quick mask mode. Now keeping the black as a foreground color, I'm using the brush tool. If I brush here, I'll get a red color. Say for example, I want this area. Then I come out of the quick mask mode, I get a selection. But I got a selection of the white area. So I'll just inverse the selection, Control I. Control Alt. Sorry. I'll inverse it, select and select and inverse it. So I got the lady. So I can just edit, copy, and I'll paste in a new layer. So for example now you see the lady is here. Of course you can do it in a very minute and detailed selection. I've just done a rough selection to show you the use of the tool. So that's a quick mask mode. If you do it minutely, you can get the lady extracted in detail. For that you can check my other tutorials here. And then select load selection. Okay. Now for example, say I made a selection. I will say select, I want to save the selection. I'll give it a name, say 1, and I leave it and I start working around with different objects. Now say I want that selection back after 5 minutes. I'll just go to select, load selection, and I will find my selection number 1. I'll say OK, and I will get a selection back. So in this way you can save any selection and you can load it back anytime. So this new 3D extrusion is not required because it's not for basics and we don't use it also. So I'll leave that for now. So that also finishes the select option. So we finish the type and select. Now the filter option is big and there are different filters and different effects. I'll just show you randomly what can be done, and you can explore and play with it at home. Okay. So for example, I'll go to filter gallery. I'll just delete all this. Okay, so filter gallery, there are lots of options. You have color pencil option, you have cutout option, you have dry brush, you can adjust your brush size over here. You have this, you have paint, you have pattern. Play with the options whatever you like, and if you're happy with something you just put a OK. It all depends on what you want to do. If you check out my tutorials of a cartoon effect, I've used a lot of this. Okay. Then we have filter. This we don't use much. Lens correction, deep, liquify. We have used this liquify in the dispersion effect. If you check my dispersion tutorial, I've used the liquify and I've created a dispersion effect. So please do check that out and you will understand how I've done it. And you can change the values, and when you're happy, hit OK. Filter, blur. There are different types of blur. I'll use the Gaussian blur. So it's getting blurrer. So it's up to you what you want to do. then there's filter, blur, motion blur. So you can use different options for different projects. I'm skipping the 3D because I don't want to discuss that because it's not going to be used for basics. Then we have blur gallery, distort. You can create whatever effects you want. You can see it's going to have a ripple over here. Let's say okay. Yeah. Like a wet glass effect. Filter, distort, twirl. So you can increase it to how much you want, like a cyclone. So you can use these effects. Filter, noise, and noise. You can see the noise added to the image. It's a dot 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 dot. So how much you want, you can do it. You have Gaussian, you have uniform. Okay, done. Filter. There are lots of filters, so I request you to please explore these filters. And any questions, any doubts, buzz me in the comment section. I will not discuss it, otherwise the video will get very long. Then we'll go to the next option, view. 3D I'll skip for now because we don't discuss 3D in the Photoshop and we don't use it much over here for basics. So view is very easy, it's nothing much. This is all for the print, when you're printing a file in a big scale. We'll not discuss that now. Now for example, you want to zoom in, zoom. Okay, in view, zoom in. It's the same as using the zoom and clicking it again and again. And if you want to zoom out, minus, or you can go to view and zoom out. Now if you look at it as you zoomed, you want to see the whole picture at one time. You can go to view, fit on screen, so you get the full picture. But the percentages of the picture is 50%. So it's compressed the full picture to show you in the full canvas. Then okay, then 100% is going to make it full 100% over here. You've seen earlier when we did view, fit on screen, it compressed it to 50%. So you could see the full artwork. Now view 100% will zoom it out to 100%. View to 100% will double it. Then view, print size is for printing, screen mode is all for printing. Extras we don't use much. Then view, show, layer edges, grids, it's all for display only. Then show, hide the grid. Lots of options are there, you can explore it all, different types. Then we have rulers, or you can see the ruler over here. Take it off, or you can put it back. Use snap, and snap to guides or snap to layers. As for example, now I make a guideline. I can try it from here and make a guideline. So, and now with view, snap is on, so it will snap over here. View, snap to guides. Okay, so now if I draw, it'll snap to the guide. See, I'll zoom in so you can see. If I come here and if I go closer, it's snapping to the guideline, so it will not miss it out. I'm clicking below, but it's snapping on top and left. So just snapping to guideline. If I remove that, view, snap to guides, snap off, I can go close and it will not snap on top to the guides. These are blue lines are the guidelines. Okay, so I'll just leave it back to normal. Snap, log guides. Now with the move select tool selected, I can move the guidelines. If I say view log guides, I cannot move it now. I cannot. This guide I cannot move. So view, remove the log, and view, clear the guides, will remove the guideline. View, clear canvas guides, knock off all the guidelines again. New guide is the same as dragging it from here. Just created a new guide, but if you want, you can just click the ruler and drag and a new guide comes for left and from top. These are guides, okay? So view, new guide layout, we don't use log slices. We're not going to use it for now because mainly this is used when you make slices of the image and export it for web. We're not going to discuss that. Then window. Window is basically nothing but different windows. Like this is one window, this is another window. All panels, layer panel, channel panel, path panel, libraries, actions, all these are in windows. Actions is the same what I showed here. Brushes, all different panels are in the window. Channels. So basically you can either show or you can hide whatever you want. It all depends on the workspace, what's comfortable for you. So based on that you can adjust it. So guys, with this it ends up the basic of Photoshop. I'm sure if you read right from the toolbar till the window, you will at least know 80 to 85% of the basics of Photoshop, and you can start working with Photoshop with confidence, and as you practice it, your confidence will go more and more. Please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon for updates, because I'll be sending and uploading a lot of tutorials, and you can see a lot of tutorials that I'll be showing you on my YouTube channel. And I've got my playlist over here which has got the basics which you're looking right now with all the lessons, and over here Fun with Photoshop, I'm going to put a lot of tutorials of different effects where you can learn how I'm doing different effects, and different tutorials of zooming out people from the background and cleaning images, dispersion effect, shortcuts, cartoon effect, and many more I'll be uploading. So please do press the bell icon and wait for the updates. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the classes and I hope you understood what I was explaining. Please give your feedback below of how I was explaining and what I can do better to make it better, and I will do my best to re-upload videos if required. So thank you once again for being a part of this channel, and do please spread the word. See you, bye bye, and please subscribe.